I was keen to have you on because I myself, I don't have kids, but the majority of the people that I do train are from a very, very busy background, and they are looking to fit in health and fitness and getting in shape into their very busy schedules. And this is something that especially people who have kids probably definitely struggle with, because sleep is one of the biggest things that you're probably deprived with when you first have young kids. And sleep was one of the basic 3 things that I always talk about, say, get this thing sorted, because then your mindset will be in the right place.
For me, it comes back to you do what you can with what you have. I mean, you're going to make progress. It's going to be slower, but I can even over the past now, 4+ years of me actually actively tracking my nutrition, understanding my training, and see the progress that I've made getting really 4 to 7 hours of sleep. But it's really, it's doing what you can with what you have. The best thing that you can do is be consistent with when you go to bed, be consistent with when you get up. That helps your body get into that rhythm. Make sure that your bedroom is for sleeping. Try not to have TV, try not to look at your phone. Avoid using screens, within 2 hours of, the time you're going to bed. Doing your best to keep the temperature in your room, as comfortable as possible. Cool is better. And then you sleep as long as you can. Welcome to DadBod Fitness. If you and I are just meeting, my name is David, and I help crazy busy moms and dads to be able to build a physique. If you want to maximize your muscle growth, you want to strip the body fat and then transform your life even while still managing your family, consider subscribing. So today I want to introduce you to Justin Van Vliet, and I hope I'm saying that right, Justin. I was so excited to get the opportunity to be able to talk with him. So without further ado, here is Justin, aka the metabolic nutritionist, and myself discussing the topic of sleep and how to handle it when you're in the season of life where it's hard to come by.
Basically, I think what people need to realize is that in life, we only have so much time, we only have so much energy, and we have to pick our priorities in life. And when you have kids, all of a sudden, all your priorities go out the window and your kids become your main priority. They have to be, because you chose to bring this life into the world. And all of a sudden, there's this little being that's completely fragile, and that you need to make sure that it's fine. And that's not just for a couple of days or a couple of weeks. It takes a few years before it's really reached that stage. And it becomes easier as they grow older. But it is a long period of time where sleep schedules are messed up and changed around. And some people have different priorities in life. Some people say, well, our business, that's my biggest priority. And then other things take their toll because of that. But that doesn't mean that you necessarily have to completely give up with everything. You can actually say, well, I'm only getting 4 hours of sleep a night. I'm going to make sure that's the best possible 4 hours sleep that I can get. If I can catch 20 minutes nap here and there, make sure that I could get that as well. If I could watch 20 minutes of TV, or I can get 20 minutes of a nap, maybe the nap is more important than that. And just prioritizing these different things. And you just have to realize that, well, you can watch TV. You can eat whatever you want to eat. You can do whatever you want to do as a human being, but there are consequences to that. And that means that you're not going to have the life and the health and the energy that you want to have. And unfortunately, over the long term, choosing these better options, saying like, I'm going to choose to take that nap, I'm going to eat the healthy food, rather than the short-term pleasure of saying, I'm going to watch the TV, I'm going to eat that piece of cake. Over the long term, you'll have more time, more enjoyment, more happiness, and more pleasure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's the short-term, short-term pleasure. I mean, looking for something that's going to make me feel good right now, but you forget about the compounding of that and what that's going to do overall. Long-term gains will come from making those hard choices. If you're enjoying this video, would you do me a small favor and tap that like button? And don't forget to hit the subscribe and tap the notification bell as well, so you don't miss any of the videos when they get published.
And that's a very hard thing, because ultimately we are wired for that immediate pleasure. We want to say, well, how do we keep these habits going? How do we motivate ourselves to actually consistently stick towards a diet, stick to our workout plan, especially when we're not getting the sleep that we want to be getting, or preferably need to be getting as well? And it's really kind of drilling into your mind and saying, these things are extremely important. It's very hard right now to see 10 years down the line, when I'm overweight, I'm not feeling well, maybe I have a chronic disease, all these other things, how it's going to affect my life. So it's important to see the reality of the world, that if you do not do these things, there are big consequences for them down the road that are way more displeasure. And I think that's a big driver. It's a big thing that helps me a lot as well, just kind of that fear of saying, fear is not necessarily a positive word, but just kind of being aware of saying, I don't want to have this chronic disease. I want to make sure that I do look good in 10, 15, 20 years at a time. Well, I don't have kids yet, but one day when I have kids, I want to make sure that when I'm 50, 60, 70 years old, I can still pick my kids up, or when they're small, obviously, but I'm still able to run and go out and enjoy myself. And if you can't do that, you're missing out on so many different things from life as well.
That makes me think of that quote, which I know a lot of people have used, but it's live like no other now, so that in the future you can live like no other. And it just goes to those small choices that you're making that will allow you to then to live like most people don't. You know, a lot of people have health problems when they're older, or even when they're not older, you know? So a lot of people deal with that, deal with lack of energy. And I think going back to the short-term pleasure, like you're saying, it's a mindset shift. And for me, like, results are slow because I can't optimize sleep as much. I can't optimize everything perfectly. But what I've been able to find is that if you can shift your mental focus of how, you know, why am I training, when I'm doing this, you know, when I'm lifting these weights or when I'm eating this way, what's it ultimately doing? It is making micro changes throughout your body. You know, relatively quickly, you'll start to notice a change. And when you can start building upon those changes, you get like psyched up and revved up about that. But when you get excited about those changes, it becomes easy to then just keep that habit going, keep that consistency going.
Psychologically, people like progress. So if you can see these small progress, these little baby steps you can add into your life and track them as well. Workout to workout, you're seeing yourself adding an extra repetition, getting a little bit more strength. That's psychologically reinforced enough that you keep going. And then in 6 months' time, you look at your body and you think, wow, this looks incredible compared to what it looked like 6 months ago. And that's a huge motivator going.
If you want to get the full version of this podcast that Justin and I did, pop on over to Justin's channel, Justin Van Vliet. You can also search the Metabolic Nutritionalist. You'll find him there. All of his links, Instagram and YouTube, any other links that he has will be down in the description below. I'd highly encourage you to check him out. He's got some amazing stuff over there. If you enjoyed that video, there's gonna be a couple more videos that are gonna pop up on the screen now. I would highly recommend moving on to one of these two next. As always, be intentional, bring the intensity, and I cannot wait to see you on the next video.